All right, welcome back. This is game three in our match between MSRM and Don ILYA. And of course, here we have MSRM in the red Infernal again. And we have Don ILYA down here in the blue Celestial, of course, playing their standard factions. And we've seen a couple of interesting matches between these two already. These matches again were played a couple weeks before I recorded these in the Alpha Navigators Cup. Again, I selected this particular series because it was actually a little bit notorious in the Alpha Navigators Cup because it actually held up the tournament, and at some point the announcers were asking, you know, are they even playing? Like, did they even check in? Because it had been so long. All of the other matches had been long finished. Of course, a lot of them finishing in sweeps in this early round. And when they checked in, they're like, no, they're still in game. And that's because this series, if you watched the earlier game, game one, it took 45 minutes. And so these games between these two were just quite long, and it was this. I thought that was interesting, and that's why I selected them for a cast. Usually, a long game like that usually means there's going to be something good and some good action in them. And I actually haven't seen these matches before. They were not originally broadcast when the Alpha Navigators Cup was on, and so I pulled them out of the replay pack and decided to cast them here. So far, our openings look pretty standard. We have a double vault opening. Actually, interesting here, we have a conclave going down before an expansion, so that is a variation from maybe a slightly more standard build, at least my more standard build. But the creeping to the energy camp and then out to the vision camp is a pretty standard creep style. Unless you want to be a little bit more aggressive on your opponent, you might do vision camp and then go get their vision camp next. Now, Don ILYA has not done any creeping. For instance, he hasn't creeped that with the Sovereign's Watch. Instead, he looks like we're dealing with a similar build to last time. We've got the same SimCity here. We've got a strike node in the middle, and we've got teching to Kree, and we're already researching the rollout upgrade, which allows them to roll when moving, gives them a little bit of speed, I believe. Does it tell us here? Increasing the movement speed and armor while not attacking. And yeah, that's the bonus you want. So they can roll around a little bit faster and be a little bit hardier. Now those fiends, once again, like last time, trying to do some damage to this collection array. And we see here Don ILYA using that strategy of using your Sovereign's Watch to help you creep out these camps. And these fiends trying to come in, maybe get a last hit on some of these, or it looks like now that the Sovereign's Watch is down, they're interested in seeing if they can get this collection array down. And oh, we are down to 150 hit points, which is pretty low. I think these fiends, and now we've got some brutes joining in with those fiends, but the Sovereign's Watch cooldown is off, and that devastating laser comes back to do some damage, chase those infernal units away. It looks like the poor Hexen goes down as the Kree sort of chase them away. And, well, a little bit of back and forth from MSRM. Unsure if he wants to commit and try and finish that off, or if those Kree are putting up a strong enough defense. It looks like he was waiting to regroup with some reinforcements, but now going off towards this Luminite camp, it looks like. What do we have here? This is a brute just taking the long way around. Okay, once again, Don ILYA is going for this Kree play, and already adding his Star Forges. We've seen in the last couple games that those Star Forges were used to pump out some sides. And this composition I've seen myself on ladder a few times, the Kree Scythe composition, which I think is I mean, it's hard to play against for me at my MMR, so I imagine it's a pretty good composition, even up against someone as strong as MSRM. And of course, Don ILYA is well known on the ladder. I think in the leaderboard, he is one of the players with the most games logged, at least as a single race or single faction. I think that his Celestial had over 1,200 games played when I last checked, which of course was not at the time of this game. And I can't remember his MMR, but it's up quite high, maybe around 2,200 would be a guess. And MSRM, I didn't look him up on the leaderboard ahead of time, so I don't remember his particular stats, but also very skilled Stormgate player. So these Kree trying to take some vision by claiming these 2 vision camps, and with those vision camps they were able to see an imp on its way to make this a 3rd base, and in fact were able to kill that. No imp came out of that. That means there was no cancel, and so that means all the resources committed to that expansion were lost. And the Kree trying to run in. Nice splits. Beautiful splits. Not even a single imp goes down. Interesting. Wow. MSRM must have some kind of protection on his imps to survive 7 or 8 Kree rolling in here. 8 Kree rolling in. Not a single one going down. Again. There must be some kind of extra bonus armor or something. Something that these imps have. That there we go. Finally we see some imps going down. A couple imps went down, I guess. Or at least a fell hog. And I think we lost 1 Kree. But these Kree find another vulnerable shrine. Yes, I'm like, if they get on this quick enough, they can knock it down. And again, without the cancel, that's 700 Luminite already that they've been able to get by stopping those 2 shrines. Now we have a summoned Shroudstone. Of course, when that Shroudstone is summoned, it comes in with double speed of attack, and I think maybe also double damage for a ×4 DPS increase for a short time. Before it just reverts to a normal Shroudstone. So it's a permanent Shroudstone. You summon it with Animus if you need to. So it's at least for Fertile units, it's considered to be one of the better uses of Animus. Right up there with summoning a dragon, of course. And now we've got some scythes coming across the map here. And again, they find a shrine. Wow, this is amazing. Wow, that's the 3rd shrine. Oh no, that one is a cancel. You see how the imp came out there? That means that MSRM was able to get some of the resources back from that by hitting the cancel. And another one. Is he going to get another? Okay, so again, luckily, when they're found almost complete here, they're found with enough hit points that you can cancel them, and MSRM again cancels, and we see him cancel and immediately rebuild. So that's better than he was getting earlier in this game, where he was losing all the resources. I think you get maybe 75% of the resources back, so you don't get all the resources committed back. That's my guess. It might be 50, might be something different. But if you can get that cancel off on your building before they destroy it, then you get that refund. Some fiends, it looks like, running around. They claim this Illuminite camp, and they're maybe looking for 3rd bases to deny of Don ILYA's to maybe just get a little bit of revenge and payback. And again, this 3rd base. Ooh, I don't think that one was... Yeah, that one was not canceled. Now, this is strategically a good base to take as your 3rd. We've got fiends over here, but a blast node in the back. Yeah, that's strategically a good 3rd to take if you can position your army up there near the vision camp and fend off any of the attacks. But with this very mobile army from Don ILYA, which at the moment looks to be entirely consistent of size, it's probably better to take a base that's further back. Alright, it looks like we're taking this Luminite camp here. So these sides, again, circling around. If their timing is right, they're going to be able to maybe catch another third base. And it looks like, yeah, now the imps are saying, okay, we're going to go to that base in the back. Now, why is that better against the size? The size just have to fly further to go there. Now, why is that worse against the size? Well, they're flying there right now. They're on their way. So just like the last couple times he's tried to put down a third, the side they come on right as, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Wow, that's 400. Oh, it looks like one cancel there, but wow, 450 minerals lost. If you count the imps, that's actually 550 minerals. And minerals, of course, is not something in this game. I mean, luminite. Okay, these sides from Don ILYA have definitely been doing more for this for him in this game than they have in the previous ones. With so many cancels that we've had on this third base, I love that msrm. If I had had that many cancels on bases, I would, you know, I'd already be tilting a bit, a little dejected, and I might be just trying a 2-base all in. I'm like, fine, I don't get a third, I'm just going to come at you. But he's not going to do that. He's going to persistently put down his bases until one of them sticks. And this time with a couple of Shroud Stones early, I like that. And of course, now we've got those Shadow Flyers coming out. So that means we do have Twilight Spires. It looks like 2 there. I think those Twilight Spires, yeah, they're a little bit late, considering how many sides there are on the map. And here those sides come. I think they sense. Let's see this brute. Okay, now this battle, hard to predict. Lots of Gaunts here. Of course, Gaunts are really the kind of only anti-air that the Infernals can put up, with exception of these Shadow Flyers, which are suicide units. They're like little banelings. So they're not really cost effective. They're good, you know, anti-air. They do a lot of damage. That's what's good about them. Plus they have a debuff that reduces armor, and here we might have a battle. But they, once you use them like that, if you get a bad engagement, you've used all your Shadow Flyers on a single side. They do area of effect damage, so you want to get them right into the middle and splash them on some scythe in the middle. If you have them, I recommend putting them in their own control group and then targeting them on some scythe right in the middle. Now, at my MMR, that's usually all you need to do, because they don't usually have a great micro. But here we have the final battle. These sides in a concave picking off Gaunts. The Shadow Flyers, a few of them getting a strike here, while that Archangel was able to smash down, do a lot of damage to those Gaunts before eventually suiciding. This is an interesting battle, but again, what we end up seeing at the end of one of these battles is if there are not Gaunts left over, then these remaining units on the Infernal side become bait for these sides to be picked off. These Fiends look like trying to run by, and these sides deciding, okay, I want to go do some harass. Shadow Flyers and Gaunts coming in behind. And that's a much better, that was a much better contact from the Shadow Flyers. We see that pink aura there being a debuff, and probably a lot of them at low health. Yes, very low health. If those Gaunts can get up underneath them, that they're going to catch some more. But that Archangel, great little defense here. Oh, and I love this summoning a Shroud Stone to try and get extra DPS on these weak sides. And that Archangel going down for another one. That lightning there does area effect. You do not want to stand in that. These Gaunts deciding, yeah, we do not want to go over there. Let's see, our Gaunts are they're all about kind of halfy health too. They've already had an encounter with this Archangel. This is a very interesting composition. I often see Korean sides, but it looks like the Kree army, maybe it's back home. I don't really see the Kree army out. It looks like we're going almost all air here if you count that Archangel. And now we have some Fiends doing a run by here, trying to get some damage over here. And it looks like the whole army is followed up here, while those sides and Archangels also rallied over here to these gaunts, speedy gaunts. There's a Sovereign's Watch, but they're able to finish off that array and maybe kill a prism or two, so that prism goes down. And what were these sides? I guess we're deciding if they're going to engage that, they needed more health, so they were camped out in the health camp. I was wondering where they went. Now, I think this is a wise choice from ILYA. You know, I play pretty reactive. I might send my whole army down there to deal with those and not be conscious of, while I'm probably suiciding them there. He had already lost the collection array. There was nothing he could really save there other than these prisms, which can easily fly away. And if he wants to engage these with these Shadow Flyers and Gaunts, which are all basically anti-air units, he needs to, you know, have a full, have all of his units at full health. And you can see now these sides are again, yeah, all up at full health, which is exactly what he's looking for. Now, I'm not trying to talk too much about this patch that's going to be dropping very soon. 0.1. Again, we're really in early access here. But when we do, there's going to be some UI improvements for observing replays like this, meaning hopefully there will be some health bars, so I won't have to just click on all these units and check their health. Instead, we'll all be able to just at a glance check to see where the healthy and the injured units are, which of course really does improve observing games, as you can watch skilled players microing their units, pulling back injured units, putting healthy units on the front lines, and ultimately, you know, all the exciting things that we watch competitive RPS for. Now this harass comes back. Oh, there's one more prism there, but maybe, yeah, and we're gonna get wow, pretty good engages with those, but we've got a lot of Archangels. These guns are not anti-Archangel, that's for sure. They're anti-Scythe, but they are not anti-Archangel. And this army flying into this forest of Shroudstones here, taking them all down. When you have this many sides, you definitely can do so. This Archangel, yeah, landing on these gaunts and just melting them. Chasing them down. Come back here, let me kill you with my electric arc, and back up into the air, flying away upon his glorious flaming wings, looking for more gaunts to slam into the ground. And here they are. They're out here trying to do a little creeping, get a little more income. And MSRM's got this base up. They've got a nice Wraith Stone here, doing that area of effect damage and creating a slow field. And yeah, are we up to, we're at a Greater Shrine. Looks like we've got the Shadow Cleft to tech some of our air units. Get the Dive Bomb on. Do we have Dive Bomb? No, that's just detectors. So you can use that to also to upgrade your Dragon, assuming that's something that he's going to be summoning. It's just a rally of Shadow Flyers and Gaunts for now. Again, harass on this base, doing damage to these blast nodes. And up here we saw Shadow Flyers, a good Shadow Flyer impact on those sides, but also amazing Archangel dives. What is their attack called where they smash down? Whatever it is, they got some amazing hits from it, creating those fields. Those blast nodes survived the day. These imps were trying to get back on this secret base down at the bottom. Again, this expansion direction, I think, is good in a lot of games, but maybe not against this very mobile air cell. Though we got Archangels going back, plus these size here, so where are the Archangels? Maybe going back to heal up. That's my guess there. And now we have Spriggans on the mat. Now Spriggans, not a very well used unit in this patch. Their damage is just not very high. And the reason you're seeing them come out here is because instead of the Shadow Flyers, pardon me, instead of the Shadow Flyers, the Spriggans, at least after a battle, they might still be alive. After a battle, one thing you're guaranteed, your Shadow Flyers are probably going to be dead. But after the battle, your Spriggans might still be alive, and if you can get the right balance of Spriggans to Shadow Flyers and Gaunts, you might be able to effectively, find a more cost-effective way to deal with this air army out of the Celestials and Dawn-Ilia. Now, Sovereign's Watch, of course, being called down here. 3 charges, which is a lot. And that's because while these nodes down here, they're blast nodes, I think, are really effective against the ground, they don't shoot up. Those Sovereign's Watches are still on. Okay, a little too early to come back with the harass. Now, those Shadow Flyers, I would definitely be saving them for Scythes. But they are great for harassing Prisms. And these are all the Prisms going to go down? Yes. And then now we have the air army. I like how Dawn-Ilia kind of circled around there to try and chase these Spriggans not towards the Infernal base, but towards his own base, so that his own reinforcements might come in for a bit of a surround. And ultimately, they have to circle around to get back to the safety of these Shroud Stones. And now we're going to get a Archangel harassing the drones here. Another Shroud Stone going down, again with that double DPS. And again, these Spriggans can be used to harass the Archangels a little bit better. But again, these Archangels plus the Scythe as an escort, I think is a really good... it's a real good composition. It's definitely being given MSRM a little bit of trouble, challenge to deal with it. And now the composition coming out of MSRM is Shadow Flyers and Spriggans. So, like I said, you could just mass up all Shadow Flyers, but then your attack amounts to just one A move. You just A move them in, hope all the units disappear, and if they don't, you lost. And now I like this Spriggan harass in here, basically saying to the area army, come and get me. Meanwhile, the Shadow Flyers come in from the back. Wow, some really good impacts, but nothing went down. So I need to see here, is everything low? Again, I wish I had these health bars. A lot of really low units, but the point of the Spriggans is not just to, as he used them as bait there, but also to clean up these weak units after. You want to have the right blend of Shadow Flyers and Spriggans so that after you get all these debuffs, armor debuffs, and you have all these low units from the blasts of the Shadow Flyers, that you can hopefully finish them off with some other units. Okay, so Dawn-Ilia is sending a small group, while all of his Archangels plus some Scythes over here to just guard against more harass, I imagine. But we see this harass coming over here instead. Now, Dawn-Ilia has so many bases that, he has to be all over the map to protect them all. But I don't know if MSRM has really scouted out some of these other locations here where he's got a prism or two. Okay, this base is up. We've got more Spriggans coming to reinforce. More Spriggans coming to reinforce. Now, I think these Spriggans do bonus damage to the Archangels. Are Scythes heavy? I think they do bonus damage to heavy. Those are the attacks. How do I tell? Light. Oh, it says right there. I'm looking right at it. It's a light mechanical unit. So they don't do bonus damage to the Scythes. They do bonus damage to the Archangels. That might be another reason they were brought into the composition. And the other reason they were brought into the composition, which I think should hopefully, I should have mentioned earlier, is these poor Gaunts. They die to these Archangels really, really easily. And yeah, we see one Archangel trying to go down to take out the Gaunts. But, oh, and Dawn-Ilia has decided to lose the game. So this is an interesting win with the Spriggans and the Gaunts out of MSRM. So once again, thanks a lot for watching this best of 3 series between Don ILYA and MSRM, and stay tuned for more Stormgate content.